Good evening. We are live. How is everybody doing tonight? So let everybody filter in. And why is this not? Is it working? Okay, yeah, it is. YouTube, you mess with me like that too much, man. What am I looking for? Anyways, who got first tonight? David? Well, congratulations. Let's go. Yes. It's always important to be first as well. So 4M, hello. Let's see, where is Patty? Yes. Yes, Kanye 2024. We'll probably Yeah, that was very interesting today. If you happen to watch InfoWars, yes, Kanye showed up on with Alex Jones and went wild, to say the least. Very, very crazy. Let's see, what else is, if you're not first, you're last. Yeah. Oh, Kevin Johnson was executed in Missouri. Okay. Graham, I saw that and I want to do that as a separate video because I still think, yeah, the Crumblies, this case was nonsense from the start, and hopefully the Michigan Supreme Court agrees. Let's see. He's on one. Trot Golfer says too wild for you. No, but it's just there's so much for tonight. We'll have more time tonight. I'm sorry, this weekend. Hopefully, we can go over it because it is hilarious. Yeah. Hey, Matt, we can look into it real quick. I know we touched on it a couple weeks ago, but yeah, what's going on in Oregon is horrible and just straight up awful. What's up, Playboy? Yeah, I know, Alpha Fox. And speaking of Playboys, our brave Playboy Chili, he's allowed to come back, but he won't go live. Makes you wonder what's going on. Brave little dildo won't come out and play. Hello, everybody. If you guys are new, we generally wait around 5 minutes or so to let everybody get in here before we get started. Actually, I'm gonna clean my glasses. I ran out of time preparing. So if you guys are gonna do something, now's the time to do it. Oh, I did not start a locals chat. I guess I should do that because the three of you who are on there, I'll set it up. We are on Rumble and we are also on Twitter. I figured out how to live stream that through StreamYard. So we're going straight onto Twitter as well. Are you joining Aussie or Vices tomorrow? Freedom Thinker, no, I am working all day tomorrow. I've got part of the reason why I haven't been doing too much during the day or really any other videos, things like that. I've got the next week and a half, 2 weeks are going to be really crazy for me. So no, I don't have time. Not at all for that. Sweet Tooth, you're saying, can I take you through the Border Patrol murderer? I don't know anything about it. I've been busting my butt for the past couple of days, so I have not had a chance. Parallax says, are you ready to get your original Twitter back? Yeah, and let's check. Let's check and see if it's there, because I did file an appeal. Nope, still not there. And it looks like nope, account still suspended. We'll get it back someday. Someday we'll return to the sun. Someday. Oh. Where did I put that? All right, there we go. Shield the Discord. Yes, guys, we do have a Discord. Oh, I gotta pull up the where is Oh, Carlos Ramirez, member for 3 months. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Hey, Parallax, are you putting up the big link that I can pin for stuff in chat? So I have no problem putting that up there. Just let me know when you do it. How's my case going this week? Well, it's not a case this week. It's a case down the road. We'll find out. I got retained. Well, I officially got retained this week. Started working the guy last week. He's set for trial on the 12th, actually the 13th. Yeah, this is not in good shape. Not in good shape. Gerald Brooks filed his appeal. It's going to be a long time before we get to anything. Transcripts have to be prepared first and foremost, and that is going to be forever and a day to get done. Well, Matt, you're saying, oh, if you already did it, no worries. I must have missed it. Usually here Thursdays while I'm working painting cans right now. Oh, well, hope you're having fun painting those cans. Make sure you paint them with high temp stuff like grill paint. It won't burn off. All right. Thanks, Parallax. I'll put that up. Also, guys, let me know if the Discord link is not working. It should all work in there. Yes, did I see Judge Doro's running for this Wisconsin Supreme Court? Hey, why not? Why not? I mean, why wouldn't she? It makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense. Take advantage of it while you can. I do think the interview she did was a little uncouth, but it's not the worst thing I've seen a judge do. Patty Leather says, "How much do you charge?" Well, I quoted a price, and I thought it would kind of deter him and help him understand this is not something that should be done, and he cut a check right away. So, oops. But I think it's going to be a problem for this guy anyway. There's some issues digging through his case, trying to get it ready. There are a lot of things that aren't ready to go, and that I can't get together in the time frame required. But we'll see what he wants to do. It's his call. So I guess we'll get started with FTX. And I know you guys are hearing me, oh my God, he's talking about the crypto thing again, but it is a problem. FTX was a crypto brokerage firm run by Sam Bankfield. Or Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm sorry, not Bankfield-Fried. Bankman-Fried. So why is that an issue? Well, billions of dollars have disappeared. And what have we learned in the meantime? Well, Sam Bankman, who is this guy here, where is his stupid face at? Where is it? I had it. There's the most awkward conversation he has in an interview, and it is so bad. Anyways, this is Sam Bankman right here. And we're going to give you yes, there's so much going on with it. Yes, do I agree that it was a money laundering front for various government entities? Yes.
Close to 100,000.
This is that's Sam Bankman. This floppy-haired weirdo who's only 30 years old but was worth $20 billion. Where'd he get the money? We don't know. His parents certainly didn't have that kind of money. So how did he get it? Your guess is as good as mine. donating $50 million to Democrat-related political action committees in the past year. It goes from $20 billion to having less than $100,000 in the bank. Yeah, Shawnee says he's got less than $100,000. I'm sure he's got a lot more hiding somewhere. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Now, do I think there's a lot more going on there? Oh, yeah. Do I think he was involved in money laundering? Yes. Do I think, for example, the Ukrainian government had to admit, oops, yeah, well, we accidentally put a bunch of our aid money into FTX, and now it's gone. Well, isn't that a coinky-neek? Where did it go? Well, Sam Bankman does admit what happened. And what happened is actually mind-blowing. He was involved with Alameda Capital, run by his girlfriend. FTX was taking that money and giving it to Alameda. Yes, you heard that right. You heard that 100% correct. And he admits to this, that something was going on with it. And what does he say? Well, as the head of the company, I wasn't involved in the risk management. You're the head of this organization. You're almost like running a hedge fund. You have to be in charge of managing the risk. You have to be in charge of where the money's going. And he didn't do it at all. So what happened to him? Well, nothing yet. But why isn't this guy in jail? Why is he not sitting in America right now? Right now he's in the Bahamas, hiding. This guy pulled off a financial heist unparalleled in history, and the DOJ is not beating down the door and breathing down his neck. I mean, geez, if somebody said he was in the Capitol building, I bet they would have sent the FBI hostage rescue team after him. But why aren't they going after this guy? It makes no goddamn sense at all. I mean, yes, I know why he's not arrested, because he's involved in the plot. He's part of the money laundering. And I just wanted you guys to listen to hear some of the things he talks about, because it is, we're not going to listen to all 10 minutes of this, but what he does talk about is absolutely, how the hell?
I mean, I don't think that's who I am at all, but I understand why they're saying that. People lost money, and people lost a lot of money. And I mean, at the end of the day, look, there's a question of what happened and why, and who did what caused the meltdown. And I think that reads very differently, right? When you look at the classic Bernie Madoff story, there was no real business there. The whole thing.
I love his answer of, like, when you look at a real Ponzi scheme, I wasn't like that guy. My scam was different. And look at him. He's like, are you buying this? Are you buying this? I don't know. Please, Klaus Schwab, don't send a hitman to come get me in the middle of the night. Don't kill me, Hillary.
As I understand it, I think was just one big Ponzi scheme, right? FTX, that was a real business.
He was at the top of the cryptocurrency world. 30-year-old billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried.
You just need FTX.
It's FTX. It's a safe.
Yeah, we're not gonna. Yeah, and everybody was involved in it. This also involved his girlfriend, who's Carolyn. Here, she ran Alameda Capital. All kinds of fun shit there. But I want to get to the part where he does talk about what he did, because it is absolutely mind-blowing that he admits he was never involved in checking anything. So, oh, come on. Why are you doing this to me?
A lot of people look at you and see Bernie Madoff.
Yeah. That position, I think, was, very over-collateralized a year.
FTX went bankrupt is because FTX deposits
Yep.
were used to pay Alameda's creditors. Carolyn Ellison said you knew about that. Is that true?
Best I can tell, Alameda did have a big position open on FTX.
Notice his answer to this question of, did you use money to help pay off the company's debtors that your girlfriend was running? His answer isn't, no, I didn't know about that. Notice his answer is not that. His answer is,
Did have a big position open on FTX. That position, I think, was very over collateralized a year ago. There is a total market collapse, and specifically a large correlated collapse in its assets over the last month, and to some extent over the last year, that threatened that position quite a bit. And I think that's as best I understand, a lot of what happened there.
I am no cryptocurrency.
that's not really a helpful answer here. Did you use money from your company to pay off your girlfriend's company's creditors? Simple answer. Did you know that was going on? Because she's saying you did. This isn't hard, Sam. I mean, let's face it, you're probably not long for this world. You might suffer a random weird hanging at some point. But come on now. Nobody's buying this.
The expert. I'm no finance expert,
Yep.
but I don't think you answered my question. I was asking,
Yep.
did you know that FTX deposits were used to pay off Alameda creditors?
Listen to him. Was that him praying at this point? Oh, please, God, I know if I answer this, I'm a dead man. Was that what he was just doing there? Oh, please, 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 God, don't kill me. Don't kill me. It's the only thing I could think of at that point.
I don't know of FTX deposits being used to pay off Alameda creditors. Are you? Which creditors are you referring to?
Carolyn Ellison said that
I mean, look at him. He can't even look forward at the camera. Who are you talking about? I don't know. Oh. Luke is saying, what caused the pop was the owner of Binance knew this guy had emptied the coffers and tried to cash. Yeah, he did. But there was also an issue of FTX trying to buy Binance, and Binance said no. Now, the funny part about that is Binance is in hot water because it looks like they really never sustained an audit. But it also looks like Tether has never really been properly audited. And crypto is running into some really bad news on the future. Oh. So. Yes. Yeah, so that's where we are. And yes, this guy is not in jail. Nothing has happened to him. I mean, come on. Bono A says, who took $1 billion on unleveraged debt coins? Lol, yeah. Oh. 100%. Yeah, Mr. K says, yes, he's actually going this. Oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. William says, Moloch does not listen to prayers. Yes, neither does Bilal. Yes, Castle's got it right. Loses customer money, the media puts him on a pedestal. The average American doesn't report their Venmo for over $600. Here come the feds. Exactly. Winter Soldier's right. It was used to cover up. They used the stuff to go around. Bono A says, how do these people not hire good attorneys? He spoke despite his legal counsel recommending him not to. That is the other thing, too. Sam Bankman spoke against his attorney's advice, and he should have shut up. But he didn't. So. Yes, ag biochemist. That's a separate matter. That's So, yes, it's very interesting. Why is he not in jail? And we all know the answer, because they're laws for the, the laws are for me, not for thee. So we have to follow the rules. They don't. Well, the difference is for Holmes, her family wasn't protected. They weren't of status. They weren't of privilege. And also, she wasn't used to launder money for the government. I mean, FTX was used to launder money. There's a reason why the Ukrainian government put money in FTX, was to launder aid money. Where was it getting paid to? Maybe lighting their own pockets, kickbacks to government officials here in America. Who knows where it was going? But he was serving a purpose. Elizabeth Holmes was just fleecing people for her own benefit, and that's why she's in trouble. She embarrassed rich and powerful people who have friends and connections. Sam Bankman just ripped off a bunch of schmoes and nobody cares. Jim, how are you doing, by the way? Hope you're doing well down there in Florida now. This guy was supposed to be Epstein 2.0, but he was too reckless with the intelligence community cash and lost it all before he could honeypot anyone important. Yeah, but Epstein was smart. This guy isn't. They could have picked a smarter guy. I think, at least. Mr. K saying, is there any way to get FTX records as to which politicians got kickbacks? That's all gone. I mean, we're now finding out that there was a backdoor in FTX that after there was told, like, you can't do anything with it, the Bahamian government forced Bankman to get in there and get money for them. So, which I'm sure is paying so that he doesn't get extradited right away. So, no, all those records are gone. They've been nuked. There's going to be nothing out there. So, yeah. Oh. But yeah, that's what's happening there. Then I guess we'll move on to AD saying, have you been following the Trump classified document case for $5? Thank you, by the way. If so, won't he ever get a fair trial? Or dear, would you ever ask the jurors who they voted for? I'll just cover this real quick. I think we touched on it. Was it last week or the week before? Let me see here. Oh, come on, load up. Let me check. Because I know I covered it recently. Yeah, I covered it like 2 weeks ago. It's a nothing burger. There's nothing there. They're not going to find anything. If they had something, it would have leaked. We would be knowing about it. Just like Congress is supposedly getting his tax returns. There was something there. It would have leaked by now. They'd be screaming from the rooftops about it. There's going to be nothing there. Why does Trump fight it? Because Trump is a very private person. He doesn't like people knowing his business. And he fights because he's antagonistic in his nature. So, yeah, nothing's going to happen there. Nothing's going to happen. Pike says this was money laundering and undermining crypto so they can regulate digital currency and issue it. Yeah, I think there were multiple reasons why they did what they did here, and certainly that's one of the theories, and I don't think that's out of the question. Bankrupting FTX and poofing out billions of dollars at the same time. You could kill multiple birds with one stone. Pay off, get your hush money kicked around, nuke it, and then, cramp down and get Fed coin going. So we'll see. Truck golfer, do I golf? Yes. Not very good at it. Cat Madison says, I thought the Bahamian, not the Bohemian government, not in Germany, the Bahamian government denied it. I'm sure they denied it, but it was clear they had made access. Somebody had accessed it and taken out more money. Andrew Peterson says, let me know if you want someone in the Colorado courtroom to report on the shooter. Oh, yeah, actually, Andrew, send me an email. Send me an email. That might be interesting to have. All right, guys, the second thing, and this one I thought was interesting because this one is crazy. Well, actually, this one no, it's not crazy, but it's very interesting. Danny Masterson, if you guys remember, was an actor on that '70s show, and here he is in his mask on as he's also a Scientologist. Was on a rape trial, was facing 3 counts of rape from back in the beginning of the 2000s. These are not new cases; these are old cases, and he was being charged. That's a very long time, but was what in the statute of limitations for California. But I think you're starting to catch the point of how credible can you go with claims after these are 15, 18 years old at this point. So he was facing all 3 counts, deadlocked. The jury deadlocked on all the counts. Now there were some issues with the jurors' conclusions here. The jury was never able to reach a verdict, and the jury in the one count was 10-2 not guilty. The second count was 8-4 not guilty, and then the third count was 7-5 not guilty. So the jurors clearly were already well in favor of him being not guilty, especially on that first count. If you already got 10 people to think it was not guilty, that is a problem because that means they damn near all believed it. And if that's the case, then I don't know how you're going to get another jury and have somebody change that around because that's hard to change around. The 8-4 is very hard to change around. And 7-5 at the very most in an optimistic fashion, well, you're like halfway there. You're halfway to the guilty verdict. But remember, you need all 12 to get the verdict. So you've got a really long way to go. And if the jury was that unconvinced the whole way through, I don't know if it's going to get any better if you retry this. Now, there were multiple issues that were raised. The district attorney says they have not decided if they are going to refile. And remember, a hung jury is a mistrial. That means there was no verdict, either guilty or not guilty. So the state can retry him. Now, will they? Well, it costs time and money, but also, is it worth it if they're not sure they're going to win? And I think they've got a lot to consider here because this is a very big problem. For the defense, that tells them they did a really good job. About as good as they could have expected. So if you guys weren't familiar with Danny Masterson, he was known as Stephen Hyde on that '70s show. For some of you younger kids out there who aren't, familiar with the poppin' and lockin' and the hippin' and hoppin'. Actually, Harris, you've got a very good question. Can the defense bring up a hung jury verdict in a retrial? No. Number one, I'm not sure you'd want to, even if you could, but you're not allowed to bring up the prior case. That's prejudicial, one, and I don't know if you'd want to bring it up. That just telling the jury that you had a prior trial, nobody may have known, so I wouldn't want to do it anyway. But that is a good question, but like I said, I'm not sure I would ever do it. That just, yeah. Besides, it's not up to, even if you could theoretically bring it in, what relevance grounds do you have? How does this make it more likely or less likely that your guy committed the crime he's accused of committing? I don't think it works that way. Could you bring it up a voir dire? And once again, I think that would be That would be an issue. So, Silver Smurfer says, I once dated one of the gals involved in this case. She was smoking hot. Not sure what to make of it now. Wow. Interesting. So, yeah, I'm sure you guys enjoyed the ads there. Examoon says, speaking about rapes and trials, do booty goons in prison ever get prosecuted for getting that butt and spitting in it? It does happen. It does happen sometimes that prison sexual assaults are prosecuted, but generally they're not reported. I mean, there's a lot, reporting that you've been raped and sexually assaulted. Well, in jail and prison, number one, you're not supposed to snitch, but number two, you're going to tell the whole world that you got booty gooned. That's the secondary problem of who's going to tell the world that they got booty gooned. So that would be the issue there, at least in my opinion. So that's, like I said, that's the issue. It does happen, but like I said, not very common. Not very common at all. The next one, and I thought this was important to talk about. Daddy Elon is making moves. You guys have not been aware. Elon has been stirring up the shit everywhere he goes. It is hilarious. So part of the things going on have been involving Apple, and Elon's been stating that for Apple in their App Store, they don't like the fact that Apple takes 30% off the top on things. So, Andrew, check. I had to update my. I had to update description. Check down below. You should see it. Sorry about that. So, what do we know from Elon? Well, he wants to push Twitter everywhere and do everything with Twitter. He does not like the way Apple and Google do throttle things to their app stores. But he did threaten something very important. I'll start my own cell phone company. Now, people laughed at it, but he has something useful up his sleeve. He has a massive satellite network already in low Earth orbit. Streamlink can be used as a cell provider. It's not outside the realm. It's not a massive jump in shifting its capabilities. Now, am I the guy you want to talk to about that? No. I'm technologically retarded. But it can be done, and a lot of people have said this would give people the ability of almost having a cell tower in every home and almost, turning your phones into like sat phones. Bonu says there will not be an e-phone and Twitter won't be taken off the App Store. That's correct. And there were allegations that yes, Starlink, not Streamlink. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, there were concerns that Apple was going to take Twitter off if they were releasing their moderation policies. Well, Elon pulled a big dick move and showed up at Apple's campus. As much as people like to think Apple's holding the cards here, I think Elon's the one calling the tune and will be for the future. So it should be very interesting. But Elon has also said that they plan on mass releasing everybody who hasn't done grievous violations of Twitter's rules. So hopefully that means yours truly will get the potentially criminal account back at some point. We know that Sargon of Akkad's back. We know Nick Rekieta's back. A lot of people are coming back from the gulag. So it's just a matter of time, everybody. Just a matter of time. Pike said T-Mobile just struck a deal with Starlink. Ooh. Examoon saying Musk only mentioned the Tesla phone to get Apple to fuck off. Sure, but the fact is he could do it if he wanted to. It's not just him making a threat. That's a threat he could follow through on. Truck Golfer saying Starlink is a virtual jail all the sheep will love. Is it really that different than the jail we're in right now? So, Eric Foam saying, but he won't bring back Alex Jones. He's a fraud. I think that'll change. I think that's going to change. His initial reasoning for that got a lot of pushback, and I expect that's going to soften. At some point, Alex Jones will be back. I guess I'll make a prediction. Today's December 1st, 2022. 6 minutes after 10 Eastern Standard Time. Here's my prediction. Within 6 months, Alex Jones is back on Twitter. How about that? 6 months from now. Be May 1st. May Day. Happy Communism Day to all you socialist bastards out there in May. May 1st, Alex Jones is back on Twitter. That's my prediction right now. Write it down. Put it in stone. Double stamp it. Triple stamp it. Notarize it. Seal it in wax. Alex Jones will be back. Elon's going to understand what's going on. Bonu says, I think Alex Jones got a bad deal. Of course he did. Stabby saying, did you see Yee's? Did I see Ye's appearance on Alex Jones, though? Yes, I listened to it today. Holy God, that was awesome to listen to. We will we'll have to cover that at a different time because there's so much going on there. Sheeple Hunter says my prediction is also that I'll be pregnant. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Exit Moon says Musk will bring back Jones on January 6th to troll the Dems. That would be funny. Jim is saying Alex Jones didn't break any TOS on Twitter. I agree, he didn't. The only rule he broke was that he was Alex Jones. So, now, the one I wanted to get to, and I know a bunch of people have been asking about it, is the Delphi murder case. And this one is one that's been brewing for a little while. And we talked about it before. The two girls, they were murdered in 2017. And it's an unsolved murder. In the past couple of weeks, there have been an arrest made. And as of this week, the probable cause affidavit for this guy's arrest was released. And we can look at it. There's not a whole lot here except for, well, somebody does something really stupid, and we'll see what that is. Alrighty, here we go. This is the probable cause affidavit. And this is here merely just that you're saying that I, the undersigned affiant, submit the following as a sworn statement for the probable cause and the arrest of that person that's named there. This is all just boilerplate that's in every probable cause affidavit that this officer and the people involved do. This does involve hearsay statements of witnesses. Now, remember, this is not a conviction statement. So the rules of evidence can be challenged at a later date. These people you're using, well, we want to know who they are, what's going on. Okay. But this is not the same as a document. This can't necessarily be used at trial. But there's going to be hearsay. There's going to be some conclusions that are made. And I think once you read through part of it, you're going to say, how can anybody get arrested on this? So it just states that victim 1 and victim 2 were found deceased in the woods 2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge, and that's a old railroad bridge. The bodies were located on the north side of Deer Creek. This goes on to talk about what was going on in the area, that there's a 1-mile gravel trail near the bridge. The bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle that people go to a lot. There's a lot of people that get to walk around in the area, and there's quite a few people that are around and they go through what happened. They did go through interviews, records of electronic records, and video of a local store, and they believe that victim 1 and 2 were dropped off across from the farm, which is near this bridge in the woods that it's in, at 1:49 on February 13th, 2017, by blank. Now, we don't know who this is. Is this a protecting an identity? Is this protecting a potential witness? Or is this person just, they're sealed because they're not a suspect and it's just one of the family members? We don't know, because we don't know who it is. Now, some of you true crime people out there may know the story better than I do. A video from victim 2's phone shows that at 2:13, the girls encountered a male subject near the bridge, and the male ordered the girls to go, guys, down the hill. Nobody saw these girls after that point, and no outgoing communications were found on the girls' phones after this time. So this is likely one of the last things recorded by them, and this was very likely around their time of death, which would have been around 2:13 on the 13th. Their bodies were found the next day. The video recovered from victim 2's phone shows victim 1 walking along while a male wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. As the male approaches victims 1 and 2, one of the girls says the word gun. Once again, they say near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys, down the hill. The girls begin to proceed down the hill and the video ends. Then there's a still photograph taken from the video, and the down the hill audio was released to public to assist in identifying the male. Didn't really help too much. Victims 1 and victim 2 were ruled as homicides. Their clothes were found in Deer Creek belonging to victims 1 and 2, where their bodies were located. So that means some of their clothes were missing. Now, were their clothes missing because they were raped? Were they forced to strip? We don't really know. We don't know what happened there. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know is going on. Why? Because this is a probable cause affidavit. They don't have to lay out all their evidence at this point. They just have to lay out what's going on to a probable cause standard. And I think we've talked about this before. Presume beyond a reasonable doubt is 90% sure. Probable cause is like 30%. Is it probable this happened? It doesn't take much. And then this is the big issue, and we'll get back to why this is important. There was an unspent .40 caliber round less than 2 feet away from victims 1 and 2's body. The round was unspent. It had extraction marks on it. Now, an unspent round is just this. Now, this is not a .40 caliber round, but an unspent round means the bullet's still in here and the primer was never hit, meaning it was never fired. So that means, especially for a .40 caliber weapon, most likely a pistol, somebody racked the pistol back and the bullet came out. The unspent round came out. Now, it had extraction marks on it because part of when a gun fires, there's an extractor that pulls the casing out of the gun and helps throw it out. Well, it gets extracted and there's little claws that grab and yank it out. There were 3 witnesses that were able to talk, and they were juveniles, and blank and blank. These are witnesses, so they're likely their identities are being protected right now. Who really knows? But this is such a powerful and gripping case, they probably are trying to preserve the integrity of their investigation the best they can. These people advised they were on the bridge at the same time in that day, in the afternoon, when they encountered somebody walking from the bridge, and they described Once again, this witness described the male as kind of creepy. Well, yeah, some weirdo guy walking in the woods when you're a woman, every guy's gonna seem creepy. He was wearing blue jeans and a really light blue jacket, and his hair was maybe gray. She advised the jacket was a duck canvas, so it's like a Carhartt material. Once again, it's another blanked out name. She said hi, but he glared at him. And then here's where there's an issue because this is all getting redacted. We don't know what she recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. But then we heard he's got a light blue jacket and blue jeans. So what are we talking about? What are we getting at? Because that is a problem if these witnesses are not properly identifying someone. Now, it doesn't matter here, but let's say this goes to trial, that becomes an issue. Once again, we don't know what she described was not very tall with a bigger build. She said he was no bigger than 5'10". Once again, we don't know who it was advised. He was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. Okay, well so this guy's wearing all black, and this guy's wearing a really light blue jacket. Light blue is very far from black. Now, a dark blue jacket, like a Prussian blue jacket, depending on the shadows, could that be seen as black? Yeah, maybe. But we are getting conflicting witness statements here. Right now, there's nothing showing me anything going on. The problem is they don't do these as witness 1, witness 2, witness 3, witness A, witness B, witness C. There were multiple pictures taken by these other parties around the time frames before and around when the two girls showed up to the area. Once again, we don't know which witness this is, but another witness says she encountered the man on the trail wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. Well, is it a windbreaker jacket or is it like a big Carhartt jacket? He's wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to his shoulder. Well, how tall is she? Is she taller? Is she tall enough that he could be 5'10"? Or is she like 6'2"? Who knows? We don't know. This is not well put together, and they're trying to hide facts for whatever reason. It just doesn't sit well. This is also when they said hi to the guy and he said nothing back. They claim he's walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. Once again, what does that mean? He was, was he power walking it out? How do you know where he was going? They didn't get a look at his face, but they believed him to be a white male. And the girls advised they encountered the male. They continued their walk across the bridge and kept walking. There's another witness who said that she was in the area and that her vehicle was traveling eastbound near the farm and the areas where all this is all going on, and that she saw 4 juvenile girls walking along the bridge over the nearby. She saw no other cars parked across from the road. She claims that she walked to the bridge herself and saw a male matching the one from the video the girls had. Now she's saying it's a white male wearing blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. Okay. Once again, though, what happened to this guy wearing all black? Who's talking about what? She claims she got within 50 feet of him. She claims that she turned around the bridge and she continued her walk. And she then later says that while she was walking back, she encountered 2 girls. And she believes that she was probably one of the last people to see victims 1 and 2 alive. She doesn't know for sure. The Hoosier Harvest Store is a store nearby where people would park and go walk. She's claiming that she saw a vehicle parked. By the time she left at 2:14, she saw a vehicle parked at a building nearby, an old building. And she said it was odd because the vehicle was parked backed in. Well, backed in compared to nose in. I mean, nose in versus tail in. That's not weird. So multiple people talked about this car that was parked there. And once again, we see there's so much of this that there's another witness. We don't know who they are yet. And she was traveling down the roads nearby and observed a guy walking west along the highway away from the bridge. And then he was wearing a blue colored jacket and blue jeans and was muddy and bloody. You know, I love that. Oh, I saw a guy who looks like he was muddy and bloody, and I didn't inquire any further about it. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing? Legicator, hello. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Chad? So there is just so much of this where at this point you're like, what are we getting at here? We got to keep reading though, because it does get interesting. So during the interviews, they were able to determine that there were other people on the trail that day after 213, and that's when the girls disappeared. So around that time, there were people in this park, in this area, which is weird because nobody ever sees anything happening. Nobody hears anything happening. We don't know how these girls died. Could they have been strangled? Sure. They've been stabbed? Yeah. Obviously, even though there's a bullet laying on the ground, an unspent round laying on the ground, I don't think they were shot because people would have heard pop, pop, pop in the woods. It's not a very big area. I've looked at it on Google Maps. And then here's a big problem. Those people that were around later when the girls disappeared, nobody encountered this guy. Nobody else. No one else. And nobody else had ever seen the girls either. This is, this alone, how the hell do you arrest a guy on this? You can't. There is nothing here. But let's get to why somebody got arrested. The investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard Allen in 2017. Do not speak. Chad, I know you're here. I know you're hearing. Nothing but love for you. Do not talk to the cops. Do not talk to the cops. Do not talk to the cops. Please do not talk to the cops. Especially if you're guilty, don't talk to the cops. Even more so, if you're not guilty, do not speak to the cops. For the love of Jesus, do not speak to them. Why? Mr. Allen says he was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. He admits to being in the area of the crime in the time frame that it occurred. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building. Apparently that's the Children's Services building we were talking about before. And while at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. And then he walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge, the old bridge, where the girls were. Oh, Jesus. So the investigators saw that he had a black Ford Focus and a gray Ford 500. Investigators observed that Allen's Ford Focus traveled near the area on that same date, traveled down that road. Now, people claim that the car is a PT Cruiser, a small SUV, or a smart car. Investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to a Ford Focus. The problem is a lot of these witnesses are women. Women are not good car people. Sorry, ladies, that's what it is. But also, people are just stupid in general. Like, oh, it's a smart car. No, it's not. But it gets worse from there, guys. On October 13th of this year, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. Period. Hold on. We're gonna zoom in on this. Period. Zoom in on that spot. Right there, that dot. Why is that dot important? Why is that dot so important? Why is that dot so important? Why? Because it doesn't say Matt was interviewed again by investigators, comma, with his attorney present. Period. Or, comma, with legal counsel present. Period. Or, we sat down with him and he said he's declining to sit down with us. Period. Fucking A, man. I mean, I'm not even out. God, this guy's ruining it for me. Richard Allen, you dumbass. If you did it, fine, you did it. But if you didn't do it, why would you do this? Why? Just like dumb fuck alert. Dumb fuck alert. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. He advised he was on the trails. Again, we already knew that. He saw those juvenile girls and when he went onto the high bridge. Okay. He claims he went on the high bridge to watch fish. Okay, that sounds really dumb. He says he walked out onto a platform and then he walked back. And then he sat on a bench on the trail and left. He stated he parked his car at the side of an old building. That's all the same. That's nothing new. But still, you do not talk to the cops, please. Shut up. Shut up. They call you, like, seriously. You know that it's about this double murder that happened and burp. I'm going to go talk to him. They got to be my friends. He's officer friendly. Why would he not be friendly? Yuck. He told investigators he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black jacket, Carhartt, with a hood. So now you admit you fit the description fairly well of the suspected murderer. You stupid son of a bitch. You dumb. You dumb motherfucker. You dumb motherfucker. But listen, it gets worse, guys. Don't worry. It gets worse. He may advise him wearing head covering. Okay, yeah. He told investigators that he owns firearms and they are in his home. His wife also spoke to investigators. Period. Notice she didn't use an attorney either. Why? Because they're idiots. I can only imagine these two idiots have children who are super idiots. Although I know you do that like Mendel's, not Mengele, Mendel's do the squares of the strong and dominant genes. Hopefully their stuff cancel it out and their kids are super smart. Because good Lord, these two people are idiots. Do not talk to the cops. If your loved one is involved in something, do not talk to the cops. Don't. She confirmed he had knives and guns. And she also said, yep, he owns a blue Carhartt jacket. Okay. So on October 13th, they executed a search warrant, and what did they find? They found a Sig Sauer 226 in .40 caliber. Yeah, which matches evidence found at the crime scene. Brilliant. Now, between October 14th and 19th, the ISP State Laboratory performed an analysis of his gun. They performed physical examination, classification, function test, overall length, test firing, ammunition comparison. Okay. The issue is the laboratory determined the unspent round located there had been cycled through his gun. Now, how can they tell that? Well, it's because when you look at a round of ammunition, all the little dings and dents, if you run it through a gun, leave what are called artifacts. Why? Because it's also considered tool marks. The extractor grabbing onto it, going into the chamber. If there's imperfections in the chamber, those can imprint on the brass. Those are artifacts and tool marks. This is a part of forensics called tool mark examination. That's how they can tell firing pins are the same, or to a certain substantial certainty that it is similar to the one they found. So this is what they do. Now, the Sig Sauer P226 is a mass-produced firearm. How do we know that isn't from every other Sig Sauer out there? Well, we don't necessarily. And he said he bought this gun in 2001. Okay, well, if he shot the shit out of it, that can alter the piece. Wear it down, it's going to grab and grip differently. There might be different markings inside the gun. But overall, there's the idea that these guns are mass-produced. They're made to the same standard. When they're in the factory, you could dump all the parts on a table and slap the guns together willy-nilly as part of, modern manufacturing techniques. They all should work together, so they're probably going to have similar issues. And that'd be a great defense argument to make, except now your guy admits to being in the neighborhood, exactly where he was, dressed like the bad guy, and has a gun in the same caliber and leaves substantially similar marks and indications on ammunition as the bullet sitting next to these dead bodies. Yeah, that's not good. So the laboratory said an identification opinion is reached when the evidence exhibits an agreement of class characteristics and a sufficient agreement of individual marks. Sufficient agreement is related to the duplication of random striated or impressed marks as evidenced by the correspondence of a pattern or surface of contours. The interpretation of identification is subjective in nature. And that's true because it involves an examiner looking at it saying, yes, this looks similar to me. So I could find another tool mark examiner who says, no, it's not the same gun, or it's not substantially similar. So it is subjective in nature, okay? But this is based on their relevant scientific research and reporting, training, and experience. Now, this is something I guess we'll bring up. See if we can bring up some good pictures of this. Yeah, here we go. This will actually help you guys. So I know some of you are going to be looking at this, but we'll just finish up real quick. He spoke with the investigators and said he never allowed anyone to use or borrow that gun. There's a problem now because if I'm the defense attorney, you know what I could set at trial? Anybody could have used that gun. Who knows? Somebody could have stolen it. His wife could have gone out. Somebody could have snuck in the house, took the gun, and framed him. Well, no, that never happens. Thank you. You blew a defense out of the water there, Richard. Good job. When asked about the unspent bullet, he didn't have an explanation why it was found between them. And then once again, he admits he was on the trail but denied knowing them. Oh, you dumb son of a bitch. You dumb son of a bitch. And they just reiterate everything together and why they get to the end. Stupid son of a bitch. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Anyways, guys, if you're wondering how this works, in ballistics, so like B here, this is a picture of, this is an example of things that can happen. So this part B here, this is like, these are very exaggerated, but the extractor can grab the cartridge casing in a certain way. The firing pin hits in a certain spot. There's all kinds of markings because these are machines. A gun is a machine at the end of the day. And when a machine does its job, like a press machine or a stamping machine, they all leave artifacts and tool marks as well. Not just lot numbers, but as like the stamping process happens. And you can tell where these came from, what parts touched what. So it's something to think about. And that's going to be, this goes to trial, there's going to be a lot of forensic testimony. Oh. Yeah. So sorry, guys. I read through all that at once, and sorry, I didn't want to go through it. There's all kinds of problems here. There are all kinds of problems. So I guess we'll cover some of the questions that you guys have on this. Dispatch Indirect for $10. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Says, so I'm good if I explain all the details of my crime on TikTok, right? Yeah. Go explain it on MySpace. That way nobody sees it. Captain Chromo says he likely racked the slide to gain compliance and forgot he had one chambered. Very possible. Who knows, though? Who knows what happened? But yes, there was a live round of ammunition left there, which whoever did it was very sloppy. Or maybe that was their calling card. Who knows? Tien says PT Cruisers or Nick Rekieta. Yes, PT Cruisers are awful cars. Zero Signal says, bullshit, that science is sus. Tool marks are not an exact science. I agree, but it does point towards some issue of it's same or substantially similar to this one. But that doesn't mean that it's the only one. Jim is saying that this type of testing is horseshit. It's way worse than ballistics. It's not even close to definitive. I agree. But once again, this is where you get to say, look, it's not the same thing, but I could say, look, these two marks look similar. And honestly, this alone right here, the tool marks, his statements, his admission I was in the area, yeah, I was dressed like this bad guy. This in Carroll County would probably be enough to convict him. I don't think that's enough evidence. I think that's a horrible amount of evidence. But I think any jury in that county is going to convict this guy. That's the problem here. And once again, he talked. If he hadn't have talked, they would have nothing. This is why you don't talk. Because let's say he's 100% innocent. He didn't do anything. He talked and told them what happened. Well, they think he did it now. Great job. Now he's sitting in jail, lost everything. The entire community and state thinks he's a murdering psychopath. His life is ruined. All because he went in and helped Officer Friendly. This is why you do not talk to the cops. Regardless if you did it or not, never talk to the cops. They're calling you in to talk about a murder. You better have a lawyer with you, or you'll get whatever happens to you, you deserve, because you're stupid. This is terminal stupidity. I feel bad for him, but at some point, bro, come on. Winter Soldier says the unspent round fell out of his pocket. Sure. Dark Lotus says, how are they able to speak with him? Didn't he retain counsel? Is this a violation by the DA's office? No. This is all prior to arresting him. All prior to his arrest. He cooperated and he voluntarily spoke with them. That's why this all happened. Because he voluntarily spoke to them. They just compiled everything together to show they have probable cause to keep him. Now, yes, once they throw in his statements, Yes, they have met the probable cause threshold to keep him in custody. Have they got enough to convict him right now? No. But he opened his damn mouth like a dumbass, and now they can hold him. Brilliant freaking work. Brilliant freaking work. Dustin Blue says silence is golden. Yes. It's a crying shame says, I know I love your coverage on this. Thank you, Sean. You're very welcome. Yeah, this is just... Winter Soldier says, but the cops are there to help, and he wanted to help. Yes. I'm sure he sat there and said, I'm helping. And in the meantime, they're just sitting there and just sharpening their knives as you talk to them. Nick says, shut the fuck Friday started early. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Toothless says every day is shut the fuck up Friday. Yes. Banu says, tell them to talk to your attorney even if you don't have one. Look, all you have to say is, I want an attorney before I speak to you. You don't have to say, I speak to my lawyer and make one up. No. All you have to tell them is, I don't wish to speak to you. I wish to remain silent. I want an attorney before I speak to you. Am I free to go? That's all you have to say. I don't wish to speak to you. Am I free to go? That's all you have to say. You don't even have to mention an attorney at that point. You should. Because you're putting them a notice you're trying to find legal counsel. But at the very least, I'm exercising my right to remain silent. I'm not telling you Piggy's a goddamn thing. Am I free to leave? That's all you have to do, the bare minimum. But yes, the next statement should be, I want an attorney. Should have done that, but he didn't. Yeah, Dirk Diggler says fish watching. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, wow, you guys are like... Bono says, allow me to ask, was the same brand and type of ammunition found in the suspect's house? Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. And that's another thing that I would interrogate. Okay, so the spent round or the round you guys found was from federal ammunition. This guy's only got, Cellular and Bellot, S&B in his box. What type of rounds were in his gun? Now, there's a problem. It's been 5 years. So it's not like they found it one day and they found it the next day. But yes, I would point out, what kind of ammunition did you find in the gun? Mr. K saying, B is the extractor clamping on the round. The extractor mark would be on the other side of the rim. It can be, but remember, if the rim of that cartridge has some issues with it, there might be damage to both sides. Sometimes the rims rip off. And any number of things could have happened to that casing. I'm just using that as an example of clear damage to it as it's extracted through the process of firing. Sweet Tooth Fairy saying, in addition to not talking, don't submit the DNA test using the 23andMe or any other at-home kit. You'll be put in a database and possibly hit on for something you didn't do. Yes, or at the very least, they will use it for familial DNA searches, which is how they caught the Golden Gate Killer, because his family used it for 23andMe and they used the familial DNA hit. Jim is saying this type of tool mark analysis is complete garbage science. They only say it looks similar to any other gun of that manufacturer. Every extractor leaves the same mark. It does, but remember, Jim, also, and what they would tell you on the stand is, as you use a tool, for example, go out in your garage and look at your hammer. When you bought that hammer, it was probably like every other hammer, but what happens to your hammer over time? There's dings and dents. So that hammer leaves a different mark now than it did before. The same thing with any other machine, including an extractor and an injector and a chambering. But as Captain Chromo says, and this is the point, it only contributes. It's one more brick on the scale. It alone is not going to, that alone wouldn't sink him. But it's now that brick on top with, well, okay, yeah, I was there for a couple hours. And yeah, I was dressed like this. I was dressed like the bad guy, and I was in the area, and I ran into girls, and yeah, I kind of look like him, and I'm kind of a weirdo. And I'm watching fish. Whatever the fuck that means. Remember, all those bricks are adding up. And what's going to do that to the scale? Well, the scale's going to go, whoop, and he's in trouble. Mimi says they filed a motion to change venue. I think they'll get it. We shall see. We shall see. I don't know if they'll get it. I think Robert Barnes brought up a really good point that if the January 6th people can't get a motion for a new venue, George Floyd, Derek Chauvin couldn't get a new venue, Kim Potter couldn't get a new venue, very few people are ever going to get a new venue. And this is where you'd have to do things like polling through like Richard Barris or a reliable pollster to show you can't get a fair trial in the area through scientific evidence. So, Vince is saying, question, do we have the death penalty here in Indiana? Yes, you guys do. Yes, they juiced McVeigh, but that was federal, yes. Down in Terre Haute. But Indiana does have the death penalty. I don't think you guys have executed anyone in a long time, though. Stabby is saying, so what you're saying is only assassinate people with reloads that have a primer that's already had a light strike from a different gun. I mean, really, if you're going to try to do this the good way, I'd use caseless ammunition. That'd be the boss way of doing it. Jim is saying, what kind of idiot would have not gotten rid of the gun? Well, remember, most people who commit murders are idiots. So even if he did it, because he's stupid. Now, they would have been able to show that he did buy the firearm most likely if he bought it new. Because there would have been 4473s. They could have worked with the ATF to show that he bought it. So, is Jack Murphy the prosecutor? Vince is saying, can casings be reloaded and injected multiple times? Oh yeah. A lot of shell casings you can reload and shoot, tons and tons of times. Eventually you stretch out the brass, it gets too thin, they'll crack or there'll be tears in it. But that's you can shoot quite a few times out of a casing, especially if it's not super high powered, like pistol rounds. Those casings you can almost reuse forever, in a reloading sense. They're pretty reloadable. There's all kinds of neat things you can do. Like there's rifle rounds where you can cut them in half and turn them into pistol casings. There's all kinds of cool things you can do. But yes, reloading is not a hard thing to do, and it's a very economical way to reuse parts. When you guys are talking about micro stamping, yeah. Once again, though, guys, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. He is just not helping himself here. This is just awful. This is something you cannot do. Never talk to the cops for the love of sweet Jesus. Captain Chromo says, I wonder if they charge him under the second subsection of the murder charge because looking for the death penalty. Oh, I bet they're looking for it. And Eric Fulham saying he is guilty by sheer stupidity. 100%. Yeah, he's guilty of being an idiot at the very least right now. And Tilly, hi, Tilly. saying, hey, y'all, do Sean a solid, hit that like. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Now, there's other things I need to catch up on here. Okay. Tian for $5. Thank you. I appreciate it. It says, thank you for covering this. I've been obsessed with this case since day one. I'm very curious to see what they've got going forward. Hopefully they've got more evidence, because I'm not convinced yet, but it's not looking good for this guy. AD for $2 says, is a hung jury very well endowed? Okay. It's called a hung jury, not a hanged jury. But if you are found outside in a tree, you are hanged. I don't make the rules. Okay. I just work with them. But yes, a hung jury is very well endowed. Well, if they vote not guilty, I think any juror who votes not guilty is always using big dick energy, in my opinion. So they could be very well endowed. AD for $5 is saying MSNBC was smiling ear to ear because of the 11th Circuit reversing the special master. This referring to the Trump thing. Oh, yeah, 100% so. But once again, there's going to be nothing there. There's going to be nothing there. And then Miss Dinga Dinga says for $4.99, oh, hello. For the first song request of the night, I request the thong song. Oh, geez, that takes me back to that's high school days. Actually, hold on. Let me see that thong. Baby, do. That thong, the thong, thong, thong. I like it when the beat go. Baby, make your booty go. That thong, the thong, thong, thong. Oh, 1999. Jeez, I hope my girlfriend isn't listening. She's probably going to throw something at the door. Released in 99. I was actually in junior high when that came out. Play the Macarena. No, we're not going to play the Macarena. We can only hope Goodbye Earl isn't next. No, I'm not a fan of the Dixie Chicks. Alpha Fox saying, was your high school a Channel 1 school? Yes. Yes, and you got to see Anderson Bilderberger, as he was working for the CIA. And you know him now as Anderson Cooper. Ada was saying the song was middle school, Sean. It was, man. Justin Hancock says Michael Bolton got all the funk that Cisco missed. Aussie Overlord is doing a 24-hour stream. Could be for good for laughs. Yes. And you know what? We'll check in on Hayden real quick because he is a friend of the show, a very good man, and is out there just absolutely killing it and grinding it out. And let's see what he's up to now. I don't know. Earlier he was talking about dildos with Nick. So let's see what he's up to. Let's check in on him.
What? If you want me to make you a site just for streaming. Look, at this point, I'm much happier. Use saved password. Sure, let's try the password, see whether or not it's accurate. Alright, just going to try and see that I've actually got the right sign in for this. Yes, okay, so now I just need my Google authentication code.
Riveting stuff from Hayden, guys. No, normally he's doing pretty good, so. But yes, give him get check over on Aussie Overlord. Always funny stuff, and he does every day at 5 p.m. So yeah, he's definitely good. Definitely a good subscribe if you haven't had a chance to listen to him yet. Patty Leather says Anderson Channel 1 CIA Cooper. Yes. Darcy says, you must be close to my son's age. I was a young mom, though. I'm 37. Yes, Eric Fulham's All-Star Smash Mouth. Yep, that came out in 99 too. Yep. A name of some sort said, I was shitting my pants in 99. Oh, geez. Captain Chromo says, I Discord live stream. Oh, okay. Well, look at this real quick. Let's see if it's there. Okay. Ooh, holy shit. Once again, guys, this is why you do not talk to the cops. Yep, there you go. Remember, if you're a jury and you're looking for blood, this is going to be good enough for government work. So, I almost want. I almost have to. It's like that guy in TikTok who's like, you can't eat at everybody's house. It's like, do not talk with the police around. No, do not talk with the police around. Do not talk because you might walk. Do not talk with the police around. Jeez, I'm a singer-songwriter. I can be like, I'm like James Taylor. Oh, wow. I'm like a singer-songwriter. I can't wait till I get my own CD. But yeah, that doesn't look good for Richard Allen. Once again, that doesn't mean he's screwed, but God almighty, he has not helped himself. So, it's not the same guy, but you got to be careful. Remember, Zero Signal, you've already said you're there. It's not the same guy, but you said you're there and you were dressed like him. So, what are the odds? You have to be careful about that. Truck Golfer says all those white boys look alike. Oh. Sean is like James Taylor if James Taylor could sing. So, all right. Well, we got to move on. There's a couple other things here. We're running hard. Oh, yes, the Pike County murder trial. That was real quick. Wanted to cover it. I know this happened down in Southern Ohio. It was very interesting. But George Wagner, he was the one who wanted to go to trial. You guys are horrible. He was involved in helping snuff out his brother's baby mama's family. So, yes, they went through trial earlier this week. And yes, he was convicted of multiple counts of aggravated murder, which carry a death penalty possibility. That has not started yet. That will restart in the future. George Wagner IV was indicted in multiple counts of aggravated murder. He's accused of killing Hannah Roden, her father, and multiple people in the Roden family in April 2016. This is the case where his brother and his mom testified against him. Now that all is left is his dad. He was found guilty of about 24 counts, and he was convicted of all of them. Now his dad's probably toast as well. We shall see what happens going forward. But yes, he's set to be sentenced in December. Yeah, going away. Oh yeah, Sumo, you were right. Yeah, he death penalty was taken off for everybody. But yeah, he's going away forever and a day. So why did they kill these people? It was a combination of things. It was a child custody dispute, but it was also apparently over some like marijuana dealing. So it was kind of like a little bit of everything, but it was some real hillbilly shit. So TN says, I don't believe it was Jake's kid. It was over drug dealing. Yeah, I'm like I said, there was a lot of marijuana involved. These people were all selling marijuana, but there was a kid involved too. I mean, who knows? It was some real cracker shit. And I could say cracker because I am cracker as fuck. So yeah, he's going away forever, never getting out. And then dad goes next, and that'll be it. So that's wrapping up. There's a couple. Reading some more of these comments. My gosh, some of you guys. RN Rule says Sean could be getting mailbox money for his songwriting talent. Patty Leather says, why is he wearing his wolf's head in one of the pictures? It's from his. They thought they encountered him as a legionnaire. So when his time in the Felix legions on the German frontier, in the Teutoburg Forest, when he fought with General Maximus Decimus Meridius Decimus, commander of the 12 armies. Sweet Tooth saying now do Christmas songs. Yeah, I'm good. Yep, they had fake custody papers made up. Yeah. Michelle said, did they wipe out an entire family? Yep, they wiped out the entire Rodin family. Eric's saying, some cousin fucking country bumpkin shit. Hey now, be careful. I grew up out in the sticks. Not that remote, but I had to ride the bus for like an hour and a half, many, many years as a kid. Dan Usher is saying the Sarah Kavanaugh sentencing is on December 15th. I am pretty much booked up till about the 15th, guys. And I hate to tell you that, but yeah, to the 15th or 16th, I'm kind of out of action for now. That may change, but the next week or so is just going to be rough on me. The next 2 weeks are rough. After that, we've got the week before Christmas. I'm pretty much free. The week of Christmas. After that, I'm pretty much free. We'll be having a lot of fun that time frame, especially around the Christmas holiday. We'll be doing a lot of local stuff. I got a bunch of videos I plan on getting done. When I've had free time, I've written some scripts up. We'll get some good videos put out there. If you guys like chili, there's another chili video I'm putting out. The attorneys who engaged in the Molotov attacks out in New York City, and the one got 15 months, which apparently you can be a bomb-throwing revolutionary when to overturn the government. You only get 15 months, and you still Nancy Pelosi's lectern, and you get like 70 days in jail. Like, where's the issue there? And then we learn about how they made Molotov cocktails, which wasn't a very good way of doing it. Actually, very scary, and lucky they're not dead. And if any of you guys know what these are, and how this works with them, you'll know the right way to make it. I subscribe to the traditional Finnish recipe. Yes. Let everyone know what happened here. I grew up in a town of 2,000 people, says Michelle. I grew up in in Ohio, they're called villages under 5,000 people. The village I grew in later as a kid had 4,000 people. Where I grew up initially was just out in the middle of the sticks. So. Alpha Fox, you're saying you're one of those kids that rode the 1 kid every 10 miles bus. No, they did a really good job where I grew up of having very populated bus routes. We were just usually at the very beginning or the very end. It just, worked out. We were stuck there. Let's see here. A name of some sort says, didn't really steal it. It's more like he borrowed it for. Yes. I mean, yeah, but you guys get the point. Like, come on now. Like, I think it's ridiculous what happened there. I mean, was such bullshit. It's just it was just such crap that happened to these people. And how many of them are still in custody? These guys didn't spend any time in custody. That there's so many problems. So many freaking problems with this. Just so many. And we'll get to it. So, Bono A is saying, what's the aircraft on the bookshelf? That guy right there is a 727. My grandfather flew those when he flew for United way back in the day. It's one of the things kept over. It was in his house when we cleaned it out after he had to be moved into a Alzheimer's facility. I thought it was really cool to hold on to, and I wanted it. Nobody else wanted it, so I thought it was pretty neat. It's an older thing here. Let me grab it real quick. Oh, there we go. There it is. Done in the old United livery and color schemes. It needs to get cleaned up a little bit. It's getting a little dusty. TN said my graduating class had 103 kids. Mine had had about that much. My graduating class was similar. Bono says, the wire influenced my opinion on law at all. No, because I assume most of the police were corrupt and sketchy anyway. But it does show you the lengths they're willing to go. And I do think it was interesting that even back in the early 2000s, there was the cat and mouse game going on with electronics. I was completely oblivious to it. Because I didn't see the wire till later on in life, until I was in law school. Victorio says, where are you in Ohio again? I am in the Cleveland area on the east side. Do I have model World Trade Centers and play 9/11 in my bathtub? No. What I do is I just get naked and knock him over like Godzilla with fake crab meat. Victoria was saying, was the rape of OSU by Michigan criminal in my professional opinion? No, it was well deserved. Ohio State deserved that beating. Okay. All right, guys, I'm wrapping up here. Oh, Arash is saying, what's the weather like in Ohio right now? No snow. Just very cold and very windy. No rain either tonight. So that's good. You guys are horrible. I'm not doing all these. I'm not dignifying all these comments with a response. But yes, also important, Glock check, everybody. Glock check. All right. Yeah, it is just after 11. Got some things to get taken care of tonight, guys. So everybody enjoy your weekend. I am, like I said, I am sorry for the next couple of days, next week and a half. Things are still going to be kind of crappy as far as hearing and seeing things from me. Should be better going forward from that point. Remember, if you guys have trials, things that are coming up, stories in your area, things that you think might be neat, email me, send it to me, get a hold of me in the Discord. I'm always open to looking at stuff. There's always cool things out there. I don't, no story is goofy until we look at it. Some are hilarious. You never know. Bye, Snorlax. Thank you. Yes. Guys, and also give Aussie Overlord a check out in the meantime. I know he's working hard. So, guys, remember, until next time, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty.